It's showtime, folks. Welcome in. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. On this Thursday, he's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. Hope you all had a very Merry Christmas. Hanukkah started last night as well. So appreciate everybody for listening and being with us today. But good to be back after a little family time. What's up, JoJo?
What's happening, man? Yeah, we're going to 5 more days left in the year. We're rolling the 2025 hot. I mean, on fire. That kind of
fuego.
hot. And fuego, yeah. Who used to say that? Dan Patrick?
Yeah, that was Dan Patrick.
Back in the days when Sports Center was actually fun to watch. Good times back then.
Why
and jokes.
Why are you wearing a Michigan hat?
Why not?
It was free.
That's one thing.
I mean, it was that's one thing we know. It was free, but
I am the Kenny Chesney of sports talk hosts.
You just switch.
I just wear whatever I'd see laying around the house, and I grab that and bring it in. So no, that's what it is.
Okay,
it's unseasonably nice outside.
It feels good. I'm actually like in our building because I'm sure with it being the holiday, our building was set up for winter. It's hot, and so we've had to turn the heat down a little bit. So
yeah,
but we're gonna turn the heat up on the show.
Yeah, turn it up, man.
Turn it up on the show.
I like it, man. We're wild and crazy today. It's the morning zoo.
Did you watch any of the NFL games yesterday?
Since I texted you and said there's a game on.
Yeah, I knew the answer when I asked that question.
Well, I watched the second game and it was awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
The product.
They were
awful.
both not very good.
The product's all, and that's what you get when you're playing all these games back to back to back to back. And I think it's become a problem now. NFL wants to dominate everything. And you got 17 games and you plus the 2-3 preseason games, whatever. And you got guys, if you make it halfway through the season, you're lucky, man. It's just guys don't want to tackle. It's very evident watching that Houston-Baltimore game. Nobody wanted to tackle. And I think the product is bad. I think it's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is. It has been for a while. I'll tell you what I enjoyed watching. And I was sitting with family talking about it, and they were like, how do you honestly feel about this? I don't like the Baltimore Ravens. I've never liked the Baltimore Ravens, but guess who I was watching yesterday?
Yeah.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And I was, every time he had a big run, I was like, come on, 22. Let's go. I mean, I love watching him play football because you talk about a product that is good, he's good. And he doesn't give up. He's still the same old Derrick.
Right.
I think he's going to be shy of 2,000, but he had 147 yards yesterday. So he's he's at 1783 on the year.
I've never deemed him to be shy. Nice guy. Very quiet.
Yeah.
But not
yeah,
shy.
he's quiet.
But she said he's shy of 2,000. Anywho, just you stop it. But look, I'm going to tell you what. Watching football, nothing makes me watch it more when they're running the football and you can't stop them. Passing is great. You can pass all day long. That's fine. But when you're running the football and you can't stop somebody, and they're getting 7, 10, 12 yards a clip and watching Derrick Henry do that and then watching Lamar Jackson do his thing, that's fun, man, because it's backyard football and you're not stopping those guys. Not at all. 11 guys tried to stop Lamar Jackson many times yesterday and failed miserably. That's a fun team to watch.
So I've pulled up something. We don't have to get into this. I'm just throwing this out there for a second.
Sure, buddy.
The average, according to Pro Football Reference, the average for a Hall of Fame running back is currently about 2,500 carries.
All right.
Just over 10,000 yards, almost 11,000 yards, 86 touchdowns. Derrick Henry's current stat line, just over 2,300 carries, 11,285 yards, 104 touchdowns. It's a no-brainer to me.
Pretty good.
No-brainer to me that he will be wearing a gold jacket one day.
Yeah, he's not done.
No, he's not done.
And,
he's just going to add to it. But,
all these people out there like, well, he turned 30. So, again, it drives me insane that you turn 30 narrative. It drives me insane. It's not like when you wake up like, oh, I'm 30. I'm done. I'm over with. Just stop it, man. This guy's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And there's a little less workload on him, too, this year, too. So, there's still far more to get with him.
Well, and what's interesting, too, unless something changes in the next 8 to 10 years, which is probably the time frame of when he would get in. And what I mean by that is unless something changes with Eddie, because I think he'd be the closest one, Derek's probably going to be the first Titan, homegrown Titan, to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, yeah. Bruce was an Oiler, but had a few years with the Titans. You've had a few guys that got a cup of coffee here, but like I'm talking about
pure
Tennessee Titan. Now, in Eddie started as an Oiler too, but he had many great years in the Titan
first
uniform.
3 years were Oilers,
right?
So no, I'm with you. That's a good point. Yeah, he'll be the first one. There's nobody else even come close that I'm thinking of.
Now. Derek obviously Derek Mason gets nominated every year, and has kind of made some headway, but obviously something's going to have to change there.
Well, he's still an Oiler too.
He's a Tennessee Oiler. Yeah,
he is a Tennessee Oiler.
But yes,
yeah, because I think probably 10 to 12 years, Steve will get in.
You really think so?
Yeah, I think as time fades, and the more you think back now on Steve, it's like, man, he did this and he did that, and the stories and the stats and things that go on, and you'll get in. What weighs on what happened at the end of his life? I don't know. I do not know.
It shouldn't matter.
I do not know. But that's a question for John McClain and guys like that to do that. But I think more and more running backs are going to pass Eddie. I think Eddie never gets in.
Yeah, well, and you look at that average that I just said. So Eddie, 141 games. Now, he did rush over. He had 2,800 attempts, but only 10,441 yards and 68 touchdowns. I think had he had a few more touchdowns, it might be a different conversation. But I feel like Eddie will always kind of be a little bit short of being in.
Yeah. I mean,
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Listen, let's stop this right now. Because you don't get in the Hall of Fame doesn't mean we love him any less.
Sure.
With Derek and Steve and Frank and all those guys, we don't love him any less. That's the point of all this, is that these guys were just so crucial to developing this franchise and falling in love with this franchise from 99 and 2000 and 1, 2, and 3 and up through that part. So don't let this cause like, you get in Hall of Fame. No, man, these guys were special to a lot of people in Nashville and will always be because of what they did, and if Curse hadn't gotten hurt, man, that's another one that have been in there. But like you said, Chase, you're tired of talking about the 99 team, buddy.
Yeah. Do you think Marshawn Lynch is a Hall of Famer?
I do not.
Okay.
Not at all.
He's going to be one. If you're a fan of Eddie George, Marshawn's the one to watch because he had about 15 more touchdowns than Eddie, but yardage wise, carry wise, they're similar.
Okay. No, I don't think he belongs at all.
So that would be something to pay attention to. I thought the Netflix games were the production of it was great. No issues with streaming, which I know they were probably a little worried about, but I'm with you, and the NBA is just.
Although I did watching Curry last night.
I did. Oh, look, I watched.
That's it.
I watched the Lakers and the Warriors. That was the game I probably paid the most attention to. That probably was the best game.
Yep. Yeah.
Of the day.
I didn't watch any of them, just the last, because I was texting you. I'm like, this game's on. Let me watch the end of this game. And that's you watch that, but I don't.
Well, because I joke like Christmas is usually when I start paying attention to the NBA, and by paying attention I mean loosely paying attention.
It's just there's nothing that gravitates me towards the national basketball.
The shot selection is just terrible. They're just throwing it up there. They look like me out there just trying to see what happens.
Watching the Golden State game, there was a play last night where a guy had an open lane to the basket and he stopped and took like a 25-footer. And of course it clanked off the rim. I'm like, this is Donaldson YMCA basketball.
Yeah.
This is what I'm watching right here. This is Donaldson YMCA basketball. That's all it is. So, no, I didn't watch that. And LeBron's comments at the end of the game, people are up in arms over that, like what he said. Whatever. That's fine. Say whatever he wants to. But
our buddy Ricky says if Marshawn gets in, it's because he has a ring. That's a very good point.
Yep.
I mean, that obviously will help him.
Oh, absolutely does.
But 615-737-1025, that's our phone and text line today here on this Thursday. John McClain, who usually joins us on Wednesday, obviously yesterday was Christmas, will join us at 10 o'clock today. We look forward to hearing his thoughts on that awful game that I'm going to assume he was at yesterday between the Ravens and the Texans.
Yes. Also, I got a fun question for you. All right, Dr. Crane, you ready for this? What in lieu of Christmas yesterday? What was the worst? What has been the worst Christmas gift you've gotten your entire life? Where it's like, oh, bless your heart, where somebody's gotten you something where it was so awful that you actually feel sorry for the person who got you the gift. And I'll start this by saying, one year my mother bought me Obsession for Women perfume. And I was like, Mom, she's like, I thought it was, and my mom was a brilliant lady, but not at this moment. She thought that Obsession for Women would be, you wear this and women will become obsessed. So I wore it for a few weeks just to, please my mom. And it's like, hey, I'm wearing your perfume and whatever. And just, I mean, what do you do, man? You're like 20 years old, but your mom thought it was the best gift ever. Obsession for Women.
That's fantastic.
And I was like, oh, Mom. But you can't say anything.
No, you can't. You just kind of have to take that one.
Like you might have got a pack of medium T-shirts. Like, here you go, Chase. And you're like, hey.
I'm trying to think back.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I think something like that happened one time with my grandmother. Yeah, I think because she was always every year was the socks and underwear and undershirts. Like you just guarantee there was like 3 presents under the tree that's what it was going to be.
Right.
Whether it was for me, my uncle, my dad, like whatever. And so on that side of the family, on my mom's side, we would open presents on Christmas Eve and then Santa would come, the next day. And then on my dad's side, we got to open one present on Christmas Eve and then everything was the next day.
Okay.
So you could go pick out whatever present you wanted to open up, but whatever it was, that's all you were going to open up on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And so I'd always look up and open up the socks or underwear.
And then what do you say?
It's like,
thank you.
Yeah. But I mean, like I need, like now that, she's not around anymore. Like I'm like, man, I kind of need that. I got to go buy my own socks and underwear.
Dr. Crane, anything bad? You got to get something, right?
I mean, yeah, I love my aunt and uncle, but there was probably, I think, I was probably in high school, maybe sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
I got like extra small underwear, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm 5.
So funny.
I was like, this does not fit me.
Do you
anymore.
say anything to him or just say thank you?
I just said thank you, and they're
it.
just like, hopefully they fit, and I'm like, yeah, I hope so too. My leg might turn purple, but that's okay. I mean. But besides that, no, I did get a really cool gift. I think I was a senior in high school. My grandmother gave me a half a wheel of cheese.
Excuse me? Half what?
A half a wheel of cheese.
What is that?
Asiago cheese.
Just a half a wheel?
Half a wheel.
We couldn't get a full wheel?
No, half a wheel. It was tough. Times were tough. All right. So half a wheel of cheese.
Okay.
But yeah,
I don't know the cheese world.
Well, Asiago cheese, it's a sharp, flavor. It really punches you right in the flavor up in your mouth. It's pretty crazy.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Have you ever regifted?
Oh yeah.
I regift all the time.
Yeah. This year I did. I got 2 bars of Dr. Squatch soap. Not sure where that came from.
Dr.
Squatch.
Yeah.
Like, Sasquatch.
I want to come to your house, open presents one year.
Oh,
I think that would be fun.
It would be.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
There was one year we all got like certain foods for a Christmas gift. So
I regift Amazon cards. I just pass one down the line.
There you go.
Like, oh, thank you. Yeah, just pass. That's easy. Regifting's the greatest thing ever. It really is.
There is a terrible joke my family does pull on me every year for Christmas, and they give me a puzzle.
So
I hate puzzles. Easy, Joe. Easy.
Okay, all right.
I hate puzzles, and so my dad gave me like 2 puzzles that were 1,000 pieces each, like Christmas after Christmas. My mom thought it'd be funny this year to give me a 252 piece puzzle. And I was like, that's 252 reasons not to do it.
What's the puzzle?
It was just like a Christmas Carol puzzle.
You bring it in here, we'll do it together.
Puzzle or whatever.
Nothing beats team bonding like putting a puzzle together.
I don't know if you want to put 1,200 pieces together, Joe.
You said 252.
Well, there are other ones I haven't done yet.
Then why aren't y'all helping me figure out dating? Because that's a puzzle.
Nah, that's not fun.
That's the puzzle of life.
That's kind of sad. I mean,
that's the puzzle of life.
We can complete the puzzle. We can do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you tried Plenty of Fish?
No. Can I go to break though? Is that cool? Or
a break from what? Dating or from?
No, for the show.
Yeah,
all right. We kind of do for one.
Okay,
so.
all right.
Our question of the day is,
what's the worst gift you've ever gotten that you like? This is awful, but it was more like, oh, bless your heart, that you didn't say anything about. Yeah. Mine was Obsession for Women perfume that my mom got me.
615-737-1025. It's Chasing Big Joe. Day after Christmas spectacular. 1025, 1063 the game. 'Cause I'm ready to go. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Thursday, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Over the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. You can hit us up on our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com at 615-737-1025. Our question of the day, basically the bless your heart Christmas present that you got.
You got year. One? I mean, you're gonna do one with your grandma? And
I'm just trying to think. I mean, there's probably some that I just haven't thought of yet, but Al on our text line says, great, Nick gets half a wheel of cheese and the Titans get half a Will Levis.
That's so goofy. It's perfect.
Oh, it's awesome. I read a story last week that Lamar Jackson likes to wear women's perfume. No kidding. He said he likes to smell pretty.
Okay. Really?
Okay. I didn't know that.
Maybe I need to apologize to my mom.
2360 says, that's funny. My mom got me perfume too, LMAO. But the worst gift I did not receive, but somebody I know did, was a Will Levis jersey.
Oh, man.
Did you see the AI memes going around yesterday?
Yeah.
Of the kids like crying and they different jerseys. They got the Will Levis jersey.
There was a guy on, it was Twitter yesterday. His wife had ordered him the guy that just transferred out of Tennessee, the basketball player, Carr, I think it is, who just like left immediately. And she got him this really nice, like $500 jersey with the card name. Whoever the guy was that left Tennessee. And they were like, he won that jersey so bad. And the guy left the team Monday, was like, I'm out. He's gone, transferred out. I don't know who is it. I don't follow Tennessee basketball that much, but he was very disappointed. That's probably a $400 jersey gone. Good times.
Wow. That is good times. Well, and we know I guess it came on Christmas Eve that Rudolph will stay in, so he will be the starter.
Jokes, man.
All the jokes.
All the jokes do that.
Then Mason Rudolph will remain the starter. I mean, look, does it matter? Does it even matter at this point? I mean, this team. I watched that game on Sunday. This team is awful. Don't give me but they battled back at the end. It was garbage time. Like, it just let's just get to the offseason at this point.
It was 38-7.
Right.
So the score is not indicative. I mean, the prevent defense went in for the Colts right there. Like, we're just going to hang out. And again, the tackling in the fourth quarter from the Colts, awful. And something else too. This is bugging me. These guys running out of bounds when they could get a couple more yards, just running out of bounds. I'm like, put your head down and try to get some yards. Nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to care that they're just running out of bounds. They could have kind of tried to get some more yards in there. Drives me insane, man.
And also the news came down yesterday that the Titans have claimed David Long Jr. off waivers, putting Kenneth Murray on IR. So David Long, one of Mike Vrabel's favorites, comes back to the Titans. I just kind of looked at that. I kind of chuckled. I kind of had the same reaction you just did of like, yeah, okay.
Right.
I don't really know what that's going to do. I mean, I like David Long. I thought David Long was a good player for this team. But I'm not, I mean, he's not going to come in and be Ray Lewis.
So. Well, when we were down there in Miami, he was leading the NFL in tackles. And he was the front page of the Miami Herald about how the job he's doing down there, how great it is to get the second chance. And look, guys like,
did he have a couple of, he took a couple of pot shots at the Titans too.
Said, they found nothing wrong with me. Everything's good to go. I feel bad for David Long though. Where was he on the practice squad?
This year
when they picked him up, where was he on the Lions?
Oh,
so he's like, yeah, Super Bowl to nope. Oh, it's over in a week. I'm gonna have to go to the city with the Titans and hang out over there. But he gets a chance to play. That's good, and that's because look, man, how the Chiefs have escaped all these injuries, I don't know. But these 17 games, these guys getting injured left and right, man, it's going to be, if you make it to the Super Bowl, you're going to make it, I guarantee you, with half the team you started with.
Yeah.
It's going to be that way.
I mean, and the Chiefs too are just like, are they boring? Is that the best way to, I mean, I don't know how to describe them, but they find a way to win.
They're bland.
Bland maybe is the best way to, I mean, but Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are having the best years. I mean, I think Lamar's probably going to win his third MVP, but Josh Allen certainly has a case for it. I know he was the favorite Going into yesterday, he was like a minus 1,200 favorite. After yesterday's game, it's like minus 200 because of Lamar. And I mean, if you look at, I heard Charles Robinson say it this morning, Lamar would probably have double-digit rushing touchdowns if not for Derrick Henry.
Okay, but what would you rather have?
Sure. I mean, I'm just saying, like his stats for this year compared to previous MVP years are better.
Good. He's great. He's fun to watch, man. You're like, how are they going to stop this guy? Can't stop him. It's fun to watch. But I guarantee it, Super Bowl is what it is. I mean, if they're like MVP, if you want a guy who wants MVP over Super Bowl, get him off your team. Yeah. Get him off your team immediately. But they're fun to watch. I mean, but the Chiefs, I went back and watched the YouTube clips, which by the way, is like 12 minutes, all the best plays. And you just know he's going to make plays. It's a mindset that the Chiefs are going to make plays. Now, I do think he looks at Kelce way too much. A lot of those passes way too much.
Yeah, but you know what? Kelce's kind of getting into his own at the right time.
Oh, yeah. It's a fun team to watch. Their defense is good. Their right tackle holds every down, every play. But other than that, they're a good team, man.
But like, okay, you look at the playoff teams right now. The Chiefs are locked in, Bills, Steelers, Texans, Ravens, in the AFC. To me, there's probably 3 teams there and then the Chargers and Broncos have the other 2 spots and are likely to keep those 2 spots. To me, it's Chiefs, Bills, and then Ravens. Those are the teams that really, I think, have a chance.
Yeah, that's right.
In the AFC. In the AFC, or in the that was the AFC. In the NFC, Lions, Eagles are locked in. Rams are probably going to get in. And then the Vikings and Packers are locked in. The AFC South or NFC South, it's either going to be the Falcons or the Bucks. They get that spot. And then the Commanders are probably locked in too. But really, it's the Eagles and Lions, and that's it.
Yeah. It's going to be I think it's safe to be a fun postseason because there's a lot of unknowns, and the Chiefs I know they're 15-1, but can anybody beat them? Will they get a 3-peat? What's going to go on here? Can Lamar get his team to the Super Bowl? A lot of fun happening.
I'd take that back. I think the Vikings are legit, so they can make it interesting, and the Packers might too. But the Lions, Eagles, Vikings is probably what I'd say out of the NFC. Oh my. 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line. Driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. John McClain going to join us at 10 o'clock today. Chasing Big Joe here on a Thursday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Thursday. Just kind of having a little fun. You know what was great is driving in this morning, nobody was out. A lot of people still off for the holidays.
Good.
Have a long weekend. It was just nice. Just cruise through.
Don't get used to it because it'll change in a heartbeat to all that.
It's just hard to believe that 2024 is winding down.
It is, man. Did you get everything you hoped for in 24?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It was a good year.
It's a good year for you.
You know, we've had some fun here on the show.
We have had some fun on. You're right, man.
Success.
It's been good times all year. And it's, somebody asked me, and I didn't laugh, but I had to take a step back. Ask me what bowl game the Vols are going to after they lost. And I was like, they're not. Like, what do you mean there's no bowl game?
After that game?
I understand it because you go to a bowl game and there's no reward after this.
Could you imagine if all those playoff teams that lost, they get told, hey, you're going to a bowl game now? Like, just the absolute amount of I don't give a
I don't know. I think the third and fourth teamers be like, hell yeah, let's go. It's all about the swag bag.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like the main, the starters and like Nico and all of them be like, do I have to?
Yeah, you're right. So you think of the four teams that lost, I didn't laugh at the question. I was kind of like, that's actually a very good question because you think about it, every year ends with a bowl game and now it's ending with nothing.
It's over.
It's over.
Done. All right. So let me ask you this. I was kind of thinking about this. So we saw the first round, the first weekend of the playoff. We watched the Tennessee game. None of them were good.
Nope.
Home teams dominated and ran away with it. And that's, the playoff moves on. What I'm afraid is going to happen is they're going to look at that and go, okay, maybe we need to do neutral sites for everything. I hope not, because I love going to campus for a playoff game. Like the fact that we were talking about the first time a game being played, in Columbus at the Shoe in December or at Notre Dame in December, like that was really cool that we could have that conversation. Do you think any of these games are different if they're on a neutral site?
Absolutely not. SMU was terrible no matter where you played.
Yeah.
Tennessee was going to get beat by Ohio State no matter where because they were playing for their coach. I mean, on and on. Indiana was going to get beat. It just nah. And I think that's the fun is that it was played on these sites, Texas site and everything on that site. So it was a lot of fun to watch that, man. But it was something. But I don't think it makes a difference.
The only one that I think might have been a little closer, and I use that phrase very loosely, might be Tennessee, Ohio State, but like Tennessee just didn't show up. They never got off the bus.
Oh,
they couldn't get that. I mean, the fans did,
right,
but the team didn't.
When I saw
that's what really pissed me off was the fans showed out. They did what they said they were going to do. They went up there, and the team didn't show up.
When I saw the pictures of everybody being cool, walking on the field without their shirt on and stretching, I was like, this is going to end bad. And I wish I could bet, but I can't. I was like, I'd bet on Ohio State on this. And they just came out and punched him in the face. It was overcoached. I mean, out-coached, out-hustled, out everything. Just a bad night for Tennessee Vols.
It was. And, I mean, I think we kind of know now, that it's done what we thought it was going to do, that you have the teams that are all remaining, the 8 teams that are all still here are the best teams. I mean, you're going to have Texas and Arizona State you can probably make an argument for, but the way it worked out, Boise kind of the same thing, but Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State at least, Notre Dame, Georgia. I mean,
well, think about those 4 teams. They don't get a home game. Their games were not played on. God bless you, man.
Yeah, I'm okay.
It's another round for the boss man. God bless him. But those games, Boise State deserve a bye? Absolutely not. Arizona State? Absolutely not. Did not deserve a bye.
Per the rules, they did. And that's where they're probably going to look at some things. But with the format, the rules that the way they are, they deserve to bye.
Yeah, and now we wait till Tuesday for the first game is at Boise, Penn State, and then on New Year's Day, the rest of the games roll through, which is fun. I mean, that's the way it was growing up. You'd have all the bowl games, Cotton Bowl, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, Fiesta Bowl would all roll on that one day. It'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, and I like, too, that the championship game isn't until the 20th. So it's like we kind of extend this a little bit. You'll have the semifinals on the 10th or the 9th and the 10th, and then the championship game on the 20th.
Yeah. There, the bowl games that are playing now, I'm like, we watched the Hawaii Bowl. That was a fun game to watch. 3 or 4 overtimes it went into that. USF finally won the game. I had no idea that Florida had already beaten the snot out of Tulane in the Gasparilla Bowl. I had no idea.
Oh, you were just watching it?
I was looking at a replay.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is it sunny at 10 o'clock in Tampa? Then I realized what the hell's going on here. But that game's over and done, and Florida just smashed them and went on and on and on. And now we got tomorrow, Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech. So we hit this, and then Monday, of course, the Music City Bowl, and just roll into it, man.
Well, I can tell you what we have today because we got 3 bowl games that'll be on these airwaves.
Let's hear it, baby.
We have the Game Above Sports Bowl between Pitt and Toledo starting at 1 o'clock. The Rate Bowl between Rutgers and Kansas State.
Excuse me, the what bowl?
Rate.
Okay.
Yep. And then the 68 Ventures Bowl, Butch Jones and Arkansas State.
Yes.
And Bowling Green.
What was that game? The 68 Ventures?
Yeah, that one. Riveting stuff here.
I'll replay that game with you. Don't look any more game of ball games and where they're being played. I always like doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where's the Rate Bowl being played?
It used to be the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Now it's just
we lost the guarantee.
I guess.
Damn it! Then I don't want to watch this game. Then
that is. Oh, let me pull up my. Hang on, I can tell you. I will. We can have some fun with this.
Okay,
if you want to. The Rate Bowl.
Where do you think it's played, Joe?
Where do you think?
Dallas, Fort Worth.
You are incorrect.
What do you think, Dr. Crane? Do you know?
No, I don't. I'm saying it's somewhere out in Arizona.
It is in Phoenix, Arizona.
How about it?
How about that?
Is that the Capital One Guaranteed Rate Bowl?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Good job, Dr. Crane.
It just sounds like an auto type thing. I just think of auto cars out in Arizona for some reason. I don't know why.
Where do you think the Game Above Sports Bowl is?
Mobile.
Montana.
The 68 Ventures Bowl is actually in Mobile.
Okay.
The Game Above Sports Bowl is at Ford Field in Detroit.
God. And that's Pittsburgh and Toledo?
Yep.
Oh, man. So Butch gets to go to the beach. Nice Mobile.
He does. Tomorrow there is the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl.
No,
I've actually been to that
Fort
one.
Worth.
Yeah.
Correct?
TCU.
Okay. TCU. All right.
That was the one that I went and watched Cal with Goff, with Jared Goff, and Air Force, I think. I mean, he threw like 6 touchdowns in that game.
Is that the game you went to by yourself?
I did, yeah.
Sorry.
It was fun.
It happens.
It was good. I was bored at my great aunt's, and her house was literally next to the stadium. Charged $50 a car. Got like 10 cars on her lot. Gave me $50 and told me to go to the game.
Good for you, man. They want to get rid of you. Good. That's nice.
Basically. Tomorrow we got the Liberty Bowl as well. Texas Tech and Arkansas.
Okay.
The DirecTV Holiday Bowl.
San Diego.
Yep.
Is it that? I guess they played at that soccer stadium.
It's either there or
Petco.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's see. The Las Vegas Bowl, you kind of can figure that one out. The Fenway Bowl, you can figure that one out. You should be able to get this. Bad Boy Morris Pinstripe Bowl.
Yankee Stadium.
Yep.
Is that Nebraska and
Boston College?
Okay. Maybe a nice little bowl game.
Yep. New Mexico Bowl, Albuquerque. Is that where New Mexico plays?
Yes. Are they in their own bowl?
It's Louisiana and TCU.
Oh, okay. Louisiana, baby. Raging Cajuns.
And then the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Best Orlando.
Yep.
I swear to God, when they lowered that dude in the Pop-Tart, the toaster last year, I mean, and he was waving, that was the best thing. It was the best, worst thing ever, I think. And now the trophy's a big bowl of Pop-Tarts, right?
Yeah. The Go Bowling Military Bowl.
I'm going to say Annapolis.
That would be correct.
Okay, just because. The other one was weird in Fort Worth, so I figured it had to be up there.
Alamo Bowls in San Antonio.
Yep. Is there a basement at the Alamo Bowl?
I don't know. What do you mean? Oh, I see what you did there. Oh, boy. This guy. Radiance. So I'm just moving on. The Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl.
Shreveport.
Yep. Then the Reliquest Bowl.
Is that Alabama's bowl or Ole Miss?
That's Alabama, Michigan.
Reliquest. Hold on now. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Let me call Kelly Holcomb. I'm Tampa?
Yep.
Okay.
I think at one time that was the Outback Bowl.
Okay. And now it's ReliaQuest Bowl. Okay.
That might have been.
Well, you know what's funny? The Outback Bowl. Do you remember the picture of Butch Jones with a guy dressed like a blooming onion?
Oh, yeah.
Butch had his arm around him. It was a blooming onion.
The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
That's in El Paso, baby.
Yep. Cheez-It Citrus in Orlando.
Oh, my gosh.
The Texas Bowls in Houston. So you pretty much got
Is that LSU?
Which one? Texas Bowl. Baylor LSU.
Yep. Baylor LSU.
Houston. Oh wait, there's a couple more. You got the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, which is Duke Ole Miss. The Serve Pro First Responder Bowl.
All right, Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. I don't know where Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. Hold on, let me think about this. I'm gonna go Orlando.
Dr. Crane?
I'm gonna go. It's tough. I'm gonna go Missouri.
You're both wrong.
Missouri?
I don't know.
Who the hell plays a game in Missouri? Go where?
Dallas, Texas.
Wow, is it Jerry's or Frisco?
That's what I'm looking for. Highland Park.
Oh, that's where Beavis and Butthead went to high school.
Gerald R.
That's SMU.
Yeah, Gerald Ford Stadium.
Yeah. Is it Highland Park?
Yeah.
That's where Beavis and Butthead. That's where Mike Judge is from, who created Beavis and Butthead.
There you go.
Well, that's how SMU's paying off their, I guess, TV rights or whatever they're not allowed to have from the ACC this year. And
is that right?
Something along those lines.
You're the SMU ombudsman. You should know all about SMU.
Not everything.
Pretty much. Where's your cowboy hat?
It's at the house.
Okay. Is there one more? Give us one more.
That's all the ones that
you left out. The Hellman's Mayonnaise Bowl.
Well, it's the Duke's Mayo.
Duke's
Bowl.
Mayo. My bad.
Yeah. Do you remember? You know where that is?
Charlotte.
Yep.
I'm a Miracle Whip guy. What are you?
I just don't really like mayonnaise.
Dr. Crane?
I'll eat homemade mayonnaise.
Only way I do mayonnaise is like putting it on a griddle.
By itself?
No. With like bread, obviously.
Okay.
Only way.
I don't know. My mom would make egg salad with Miracle Whip, and then one year she made it with Hellman's, and it was the worst. So Miracle Whip. I'm team Miracle Whip all the way. But I get you don't like mayonnaise. A lot of people don't like mayonnaise. So.
Yeah. So do they actually play a bowl game at the Cotton Bowl anymore? I know the Cotton Bowl itself is in Arlington.
I don't think so. That's a good question because I know, they moved it over to Jerry's World.
So the only game played there is the Red River Shootout.
And they said there's one more game that's played there, but I don't remember what game it was. It might be a high school game. It might be a junior college. But
interesting.
But keep it there. Keep it there for Texas, Oklahoma for in perpetuity, man.
Yeah. No, I agree. That shouldn't be at Jerry's World because they already have Arkansas and Texas A&M. So just leave it alone.
So if they win, what are the semifinals? Are those bowl games too?
Yeah. The semifinals would be the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl.
Okay. Be fine.
So you got the Peach, the Rose, Fiesta, Sugar.
Okay.
Are the quarterfinals, and then Cotton and Orange, and then the championships is standalone, which it should be.
So they hit all the bowls. Good. They kept all the bowls. That's fine.
Yep.
Good.
Nope. I'm a fan of it for sure. 615-737-1025. We'll get to Kenny and Clay coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. Dr. Crane, we love you.
The best.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
What is this? Like 1980, I think. Diana Ross, and then ripped off by somebody 20, 30 years later.
Our buddy Ricky's listening right now. He's probably digging this. This is a great
too.
song.
It is. Get the shoulders moving.
Oh yeah, feeling good.
Yeah.
Did you watch any movies over the last few days? Like any Christmas movies? Or
No,
anything?
nothing. I hate Elf, the movie Elf. So they down in Mississippi, they wanted to watch that, so I excused myself.
Okay, so I'm kind of with you. Here's the thing though. With most Will Ferrell movies, I think he's very funny.
Yeah.
I have to watch his movie more than once to kind of like, oh yeah, it's kind of funny. Like Elf's okay. It's not my favorite.
Yeah,
Definitely
right.
not my favorite.
Well, it's a good point because like when I saw Step Brothers in the theater,
Yeah. But
And
then you
then-
watch it again, it's like, oh, okay.
that's one of the greatest comedies, at least to me, ever. I laugh nonstop. Anchorman the same way.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Anchorman 2, it's okay, but when he goes to dinner with the girlfriend's family, that is some of the funniest things I've ever seen. How they made that through that without, because I went and read some stuff, like it took them like days to film that because they couldn't stop laughing
Yeah.
the entire time. So it's little things like that. But Elf to me,
It's okay.
no.
So I watched both Home Alones. I hadn't seen those in forever.
Mhm.
So I watched 1 and 2 of Home Alone. My mom and I watched Red 1, which was with The Rock.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Basically, like Santa Claus is kind of he's got protection detail like the president.
Yeah.
They call him Red 1. And J.K. Simmons, who I think is vastly underrated, he's
Yeah.
Santa. So it was pretty good. It was funny. The Rock, is The Rock.
I'm sorry. I saw that and I thought it was another one of his like security movies, like serious.
Well, it kind of is.
I
It's
didn't
an
know it was
action
about
movie.
Santa.
Yeah.
Were they trying to attack Santa?
Yeah, basically, like Red 1 has been compromised, and so they got to go and.
Was it Krampus? That's Dr.
No, but
Crane's
Krampus
friend.
is in it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I want. They got me. Want to look at you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You're a good reviewer.
Yeah, go ahead and check it out.
Red 1, okay.
But yeah, it's a good one.
No, otherwise the movie wise, I watched The Grinch a little bit last night because
That's a classic.
Jim Carrey and just all the makeup required to do that and how he kept everybody laughing on the set.
Yeah, I didn't watch Christmas Vacation this year, so I might still do it.
It's over, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, probably just
Love
need
it.
to wait.
And then I found out that First Blood's a Christmas movie. Stallone.
Is it?
Because when they arrest him, there's a Christmas tree in the background.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So does that qualify
I
as
think it does.
right? So I was like, this is great. First Blood's now a Christmas movie. All that stuff.
I crack up on I guess it's usually Christmas Eve, like late Christmas Eve, when you start seeing the tweets of there's reports of shots fired at Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah, those are great. And then there's one that says if you start the movie like at 10:08, 27 seconds at midnight, Gruber falls out of the window.
Oh, really?
Like perfect timing. And like for Forrest Gump, it's like if you started at a certain time, it's the same time where Lieutenant Dan and Forrest Gump are celebrating New Year's Eve and the ball drops.
Oh,
in
wow.
Times Square.
That's cool.
But you got to time it perfectly. It says it works good.
Yeah.
That's how sad my life is.
No, but I like it. 615-737-1025. Kenny the mailman wants to weigh in. Kenny, what's up?
Fellas, how are y'all doing?
Good.
I just wanted to take a minute and thank y'all for helping me get through my 38th Christmas at the post office. Y'all got me through some hot days and cold days.
Well,
38,
we're
man.
glad to help. Was it a good one at
Listen.
least?
Oh, yeah, it has changed. I never thought I'd be delivering computers, TVs, and beds in the boxes. So sometimes I'm sort of grumbling. It has Team Lift stickers on it, but there's no team when you're out here on your own.
Hey, let me ask you this. I get the mail gets delivered to my house on Sundays. I thought you guys didn't work Sundays.
We do. If it's like medicine or overseas packages or something special, yeah, there's a guy there every day.
God,
24 hours,
God bless
even
you.
Christmas and New Year's. I did those when I was first starting out, so that's what it is. What it is. But let me tell you, have y'all noticed FedEx trucks and UPS trucks? They're a whole lot bigger than mine, right?
Yeah.
And they just drive by me and stare at me and glower. You know what I'm doing today?
What's that?
To show I'm not intimidated, I'm delivering the mail shirtless. They're not going to mess with me. I'm showing them. Hey, I even told them in July I'm going to wear a sweater.
What's that route so we can let all the ladies know?
No, but I was referring to the foot. Why is it anytime you hear something extremely goofy, like warming up without a shirt on or doing crazy stuff, it's always football?
I know. Well, because that's just how it is. It's usually the offensive lineman too.
Yep.
Yeah, but they came out, so that inspired me. I'm not going to let FedEx intimidate me.
Well, don't.
Y'all have a great day.
All right,
Thanks,
love
Kenny.
you, brother.
Appreciate it. Kenny the Mailman. He's a good one. Coming up next, John McClain going to join us. HoustonTexans.com. Clay, call back. We'll get to you after John McClain. He will join us. Coming up next, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Thursday. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We say hello now to John McClain, HoustonTexans.com, who joins us. John, hope you had a Merry Christmas. The Texans did not, but hope you did.
Well, I did not because I had to cover that game and sit through it. I thought about walking after halftime like so many did after Beyonce's incredible show. But I've never left a game in 48 years early, so I didn't. And, of course, it was awful. I think the Texans are going to lose to the Titans. They'll, I'm sure, rest a lot of starters, and I don't know if it would have mattered considering the Titans embarrassed the Texans here. And then they'll lose in the first round of the playoffs no matter who they play because their offense is broken. C.J. Stroud, because he's been hit so much and because he's been chased so much, he seems to have lost his confidence, his accuracy. He's not the quarterback who was 5-1, now is 4-6, and it's not. Some of it's his fault, but most of it has been because they're terrible pass protection and run blocking, specifically in the interior of the offensive line, which plays right into the hands of what the Titans will have for them in the last game of the season. Maybe the Titans fool around and win their last 2 games here and get people fired up for next season and lower their first-round pick.
Do you think Bobby Slowick is going to be the one that kind of pays for that, or are they aware of what their issues are and know that they just need to go fix that?
I tell you what is weird. Last year, the Texans started a league-high 12 offensive linemen because of injuries, and they had to start some guys who aren't in the league anymore, and they had the same coaches, and the line wasn't a problem. And this year, with everybody healthy, now they're not now, but most of the season they have been, and with the same coaches, they've basically been terrible. It's not the tackles as much with Laramie Tunsil. He's still their best pass protector, and Titus Howard, the right tackle, moved inside the left guard out of desperation. But they have too many guys get beaten at the point of attack, and seldom does Stroud have time to throw. And yesterday he had some time to throw, and he was off target too much. So Bobby Slowick is the offensive coordinator and play caller. Last year he was the fair-haired boy, had 5 interviews for head coaching jobs. Now everybody here wants him fired, but I'll be surprised if he's fired. I think more likely they'll have major changes that start with the offensive line coaches, although I feel for them, it's not their fault when guys are beaten off the ball.
You got to see Lamar Jackson up close and personal yesterday. He passed Michael Vick's rushing record for a quarterback. I mean, he just continues to do some really special things. You also saw Derrick Henry yesterday, but watching Lamar live, I mean, what stands out? Because I feel like he's going to win his 3rd MVP.
I do too, because he's more accurate than he's ever been. When the Titans upset the Ravens in the playoffs 3 years ago, I think it was, he was about throwing the ball down the middle, but he wasn't good throwing to the boundaries. Now, some of that was because he didn't have good receivers, and now he completes it all over the field. If his rating of 121.6 keeps it up for one more game, he'll be second in NFL history to Aaron Rodgers, who had a 122.5 in 2011. He's already set career highs, 39 touchdown passes. He has, of course, that rating. He has a career high of 3,955 yards passing, 67.9%. He's better than he was in either of his MVP years. And he and Henry just make each other better. 145 of Henry's, I think 147 yards were between the tackles. They just annihilated the Texans' defensive line. And it's amazing what a great job they do coaching and what a terrible job the Texans' offensive coaching has been. But I tell you, it's Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo. Those 3 teams in the AFC, and right now, the 2 that I would pick would be Baltimore at Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, a repeat of what we had last year in Baltimore.
We're talking to the great John McClain on the Chase and Big Joe show. And John, to kind of piggyback on Chase's question, I was reading somebody that covered the Ravens and said, look, when you watch them on TV, it's something else. When you watch them in the stands, it's something else. But when you watch them face to face on the field, it's something else. How impressed were you by seeing Lamar Jackson and just how well that team runs?
Well, I've seen him so much. I saw him twice last year. He's now 5-0 against the Texans. The average scoring margin is 33-8.
Wow.
That 31-2 score yesterday is only third time in NFL history we've had it. The other two were 1936 and 1965. And so Lamar is better because of Derrick Henry, because they drafted Zay Flowers last year. They've taken pressure off of Mark Andrews. Isaiah Likely gives them a dual threat at tight end. They have so much balance, and their offensive line is so good, so dominant, and they have adjusted Henry inside, Lamar outside. Lamar just makes one great play after another, and he's still able to do it. It's funny. He's only 27 years old.
Ouch.
His first season was when he's 21. We have guys who'll be rookies next year who are his age. And that's why Josh Allen's coming off a terrible game. And they almost lost New England. I think they play New England again, maybe the Jets. It's an easy schedule for Buffalo, but Josh Allen's going down. Lamar Jackson's going up. And when you have a great game on national TV late in the year, that helps your resume more than anything.
Well, you talk about the Chiefs, they got the first round bye, and they're probably not going to play anybody next week that goes on. But, John, just watching that game versus the Steelers yesterday, I mean, they look, we talked earlier, we used the word bland. They're very bland, but they're going to win, and they're not doing anything fancy that they haven't done the last 3 or 4 years. It's just very hard to cover that football team. They went
to Pittsburgh. They beat up the Steelers. They did it without their best defensive player, tackle Chris Jones. They did it. They're not a big play offense. In fact, I saw a stat listing teams that have not scored more than 30, and it's 3 bad teams and the Chiefs. And yet they keep winning. Their defense is so not underrated. Everybody knows their defense is great, but there have been times when the defense has carried them. They're more of a nickel and dime team right now that mixes it up great because of tremendous calls by Andy Reid. And it's funny, they've been criticized for most of the year, and they've lost one game. And 2 of the last 3, they've been blowouts. The Texans have lost by 1 score up there. And that's why a lot of people thought Texans had a chance against the Ravens. I picked the Ravens to win at 33-8 because that's been the average score. And right now, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo, but Buffalo is not getting any tough tests, and Baltimore is. Pittsburgh's schedule has been unbelievably difficult down the stretch. They've lost 3 in a row. They're not in the same class with Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo. I can't wait for the playoffs to see what Lamar Jackson continues to do, and Derrick Henry. But what we see Derrick Henry doing is not anything new.
No, that is for sure. We'll have more with John McClain coming up next. It's Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Thursday. Continuing our conversation with John McClain. HoustonTexans.com is where you can find his work. So, John, the Titans announced that Mason Rudolph will make his second consecutive start this week. We saw last week, I think he was okay. The team wasn't very good. They're not a good team. That's just where we are at this point. But what do you think this means moving forward for Will Levis? Could you see him having another home next year, or could he be a part of the competition that the Titans are probably going to have in the offseason?
Boy, that would be something, wouldn't it? They bench him here at the end of the year instead of letting him continue to use it as a learning experience. I think it depends on what they do at quarterback. They're going to, they'd love to be able to draft somebody that they like, that they think could be the franchise quarterback. They may have to sign a veteran. I don't think there's any way Sam Darnold is getting away from Minnesota. They could tag him for a year, see what happens with J.J. McCarthy as the backup, and then the Titans would need to get a bridge quarterback. But we can't count out this draft just because the so-called experts are saying it's not a good quarterback draft. As I've told you guys before, the scouts don't pay much attention to what they do in college. They want to see what they do afterward, at the Senior Bowl practices, at the combine, at the private workouts, at the pro days. And that's when guys can emerge. Anthony Richardson being the perfect example of how a guy can take care of the offseason and then so far not be worth the 4th overall pick. Yeah, but so there's a quarterback that could just put on a show in all those events we're talking about, blow them away and when they go to lunch and dinner and they fall in love with him. So you can't rule out them drafting a quarterback in the first round. Look where Denver got Bo Nix. Look where Baltimore got Lamar Jackson. So that's got to be their top priority. And you hope they're able to get a guy that they say, this is our guy, we're going to develop him. But, that Brian Callahan's got to be able to get his own guy.
Is there going to be much of a market for Kirk Cousins? Because it feels like that relationship in Atlanta is about to come to an end.
He's got to be gone. It's amazing he can get out of town without getting thrown in jail based on what they've given him. He's going to walk away with. He won't have to have a lot of money with his new team next year. He'll get a job. There are always jobs. Daniel Jones will be gone from Minnesota. There'll be a market for him because if you go back and look at some of the games, actually a couple of seasons he was pretty good. But they failed him, but so badly with poor offensive lines. And they just didn't letting like Saquon Barkley get away. So the Giants did him a disservice. So he'll be another quarterback out there that people will call a bridge quarterback. And there's a lot of teams that still need him. Ideally, if you're New England, you lose out and you end up, Giants take the first quarterback, and then New England is in a position with Drake May to listen to offers. And if you get 2 or more teams bidding to trade up for your pick, then you got a chance to make a haul.
John, a lot of speculation. Pete Carroll wants to get back in coaching. They've mentioned the Bears and all that. He'll be 72, 73 years old. Any chance the Bears look at him like, yeah, he's our guy, or is it over for Pete?
No, I think it's over for Pete. I think it's over for Bill Belichick. And I think the Bears are going to go offense. They'll start with Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator. It's funny. Would you rather have a guy like Pete Carroll who's won a national championship in college, won a Super Bowl, should have won 2 except for a boneheaded offensive play call against the Patriots on the goal line? And Pete is a very young – he's got his hair. He's thin. He has boundless energy. If you watched him walk around all the time, you'd think Pete Carroll was 63 instead of 73. But if he gets an interview, he'll be impressive in interviews, much more impressive than Bill Belichick is. And Pete's not a control freak. When he was there, he had final say for a while. John Schneider, the GM, had final say. I would certainly interview Pete if I needed a head coach. Number one, pick his brain, get every morsel of information from him that you could use with somebody else. So I hope he gets interviews. I'd love to see him back in the NFL with a third team or fourth team. I think would be a fourth team, but I'd be surprised if it happened.
Fremont says, ask John if Sean Payton is the coach of the year in the National Football League. I would have laughed at this a couple of weeks ago, but he's done a damn good job in Denver, John.
He's done a great job in Denver. I don't think he'll get it right now. I think Kevin O'Connell at Minnesota, they were picked last in the division. Now they've got a tough closing schedule, but he has done a fantastic job at one point. Mike Tomlin, he's lost 3 in a row. Dan Quinn is starting to get some momentum again because they have bounced back in Washington. But I think he would deserve to be right now number 2 to me, and Quinn 3, and O'Connell number 1.
John, your comments on how Sean McVay's done with the Rams, because they've won 4 straight. They're pretty much out of it. And that's a sneaky good football team.
They're going to win the NFC West, and Matthew Stafford gives them a chance to win almost any game. And the thing is, they've done a really good job of picking the last 2 years. Remember, for years they didn't have high picks. They traded everything. And now they've showed they can get them high. They can get them in the middle rounds. They're building a tremendous pass rush. Now, if they're on the road and they're playing outdoors, and people say, well, he played in Detroit all those years. Yeah, Detroit plays indoors. And so he has played outdoors in bad weather because he had to go to Green Bay and he had to go other cities in the east and northeast and play. So it'd be easier for him than a guy who played his whole career inside. But I think they're a dangerous team, and McVay is a great coach capable of winning any game.
True or false? Mike McCarthy is going to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys next year.
I'm going to say true now because based on what Jerry Jones has said, praising the heck out of him, he doesn't sound like a coach who's going to be gone. And the fact that some players led by Dak Prescott have spoken out for him, I think Jerry likes him. McCarthy's an easy guy to like. And I tell you, boy, their fan base is going to be mad. The media is going to be mad. Everybody is going to be mad if he keeps Mike McCarthy.
Well, I just feel like this is kind of he held on to Wade Phillips too long, I think. I think he held on to Jason Garrett too long, and it just seems like this is a pattern for him.
People always act like Jerry's quick on the trigger, and he's exactly the opposite. Even Dave Campo, never should have been a head coach, but Jerry is. I remember Wade Phillips is the only coach he's fired during the season. And Wade was fired. He came back to Houston because his daddy was getting a roast and toast. And I was there. I was one of the guys roasting him. But beforehand, Wade comes in just right before it started. And he's walking down these stairs against the wall, and people start clapping. And then they stand and they start clapping. And Wade looks behind him to see who's come in. And it's because the Texans had a bad defense. And I told him, you're going to be next defensive coordinator of the Texans, and he was, and he turned around from 30th to number 2 in the league. They made the playoffs for the first time, and Jerry Jones always regretted firing him during the season. And but I think McCarthy's coming back. Now, if they fall on their face in these last 2, he's got to go. But if they've got a little momentum with Cooper Rush is playing better than Dak Prescott played before he was hurt.
Oh, I agree. And I mean, they find a way to do it. Cooper Rush is going to be an interesting one to watch too, because I feel like he's a backup, but you might see a team that looks at him and thinks, oh, he could be a bridge starter.
He has started 2 times for Dak Prescott when he's been injured lately, and he was 4-1 the first time. I don't know what his record is now, but I do know this. He has played very, very well. If I was a team interested in a quarterback, a bridge quarterback, I'd rather have him than Kirk Cousins for sure.
Yeah, going to be interesting for sure. John, appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you sometime next week.
Guys, thank you very much. Happy New Year and happy holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. John McClain joining us here on the program. We'll react to some of the things he had to say. Plus, we welcome your calls at 615-737-1025, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. Chasing Big Joe presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 1025, 1063 The Game. Hey, tune in to 102.5, 106.3 The Game for the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl on Monday, December 30th. Big Joe and I will have our show, which will be the official pregame show, starting at noon, kickoff set for 1:30. So we'll be on that day. The Music City Bowl is presented by, our coverage is presented by Hi-Fi Buys. So appreciate them for being on board. But yeah, you and I, we had both coaches on, so you'll hear that again if you missed it, with Kurt Ferentz and Eli Drinkwitz is Missouri and Iowa battle. Looking forward to being a part of the pregame and being there at Nissan Stadium on Monday.
That'll be a lot of fun with that. The games, they're fun to go to, man.
They are.
Two teams you never get to see. Back to our question earlier about worst gift you ever gotten for Christmas, but you're like, oh, bless your heart. Dave, my friend, says that his mom gave him 2 years ago, gave him a GPS to put in the car. Like,
That's not good.
and I said, what did you say back? He's like, oh, thank you. It's just what I wanted. And that's the proper response.
Yep.
For, moms,
So-
grandparents, the best. Don't know that you got it on your phone.
My mom was listening earlier. She might still be, but she texted and she goes, I'm surprised you didn't say board games. So every year, my mom will give me a board game. And you know how many board games I've played? Like,
Yeah,
I just,
right?
like she, but that's her thing.
But
like,
that's
she
okay,
always
though.
gives, right. And I just, like, I laugh I'm like, oh, there's my game. Like, I kind of
Did you get one this year?
I did. It was,
Yahtzee?
it was not Yahtzee. It's
Parcheesi?
actually wooden. I don't know what it is.
Is it that
She's-
Mancala game with all the marbles and stuff?
No, I'd have to go look at it again. She said that my friends and I would like playing it. So
Our Mike Henry says, please read mine. We will read yours, Mike. Good Lord.
is it something Gators or
His brother got him Parcheesi back in the day.
there you go.
All kind of games. I told you, you get Jenga. The way to win Jenga is you sneeze on all the pieces.
That works for me today.
Right?
Doing quite a bit of
Halfway
that.
through the game, and you'll be fine about that. No, the gifts are great, man. And it's not all that to be like, oh, how could you? But like, bless your heart. As we said earlier, my mother bought me Obsession for Women perfume and thought it was cologne. That's like women would be obsessed with that. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. So I'm just telling you though, but I wore it for like 2 weeks. Look, Mom, I'm still wearing it until I finally chucked it across the neighborhood.
Yeah. 615-737-1025. Eric wants to weigh in on our conversation with John McClain. Eric, what's up?
Guys, I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you have a
You
happy
too.
New Year.
Thank you. You too.
Hey, guys. Yeah. Hey, guys, you were talking about the Cowboys. Of course, I grew up as a huge Cowboys fan, but there was one other Cowboys question you didn't ask him. I was kind of surprised you didn't.
Yeah,
and that's
Chase.
the situation. And that's the situation for Michael Parsons. There's rumors that they may not resign him. That there's talk they may trade him for picks. But here's my issue with the Cowboys. Of course, Jerry being the GM, they signed Dak, but they wait till last minute to sign him. They signed CeeDee Lamb, wait till last minute to sign him. A lot of people think they're going to do the same thing. Wait till last minute to sign Michael Parsons. When all three of these guys, if they're going to resign them, they could have locked him up early and had more money to match the cap. And it was this big argument why they didn't sign Derrick Henry because he wanted to play for the Cowboys. He said, well, we don't have enough cap money. I said, listen, you could have found a way to sign it. My point is, and Jerry Jones kind of become like the modern day Al Davis, where he just screws up and just messes this team up. And I believe as long as he's the GM, they're never going to win another Super Bowl because I think he needs to turn over the duties to somebody else. He says, well, look, I did a great job of getting all these talents, and they sure have got some great talent. But I just believe as long as he's the GM as well as the owner, they're never going to be the winner that they need to be in. Because if it'd been another coach or if he let somebody else have control, they probably would have one of these 3 seasons, could have won the Super Bowl, at least one more playoff games. But it is what it is, and we'll see what happens, guys. It's always good to talk to you. Y'all guys take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric.
I mean, I think they have to get Micah Parsons re-signed. I mean, that guy is the glue on their defense, and he's a special player. So I feel like they are going to get that done. But it just as long as Jerry holds on and won't give up the GM part, and I mean, they're going to continue to be what they are. I mean, if he brings back Mike McCarthy, and then you get a healthy Dak Prescott, you fix the running game because they didn't address that this year. You do all that, then they're probably going to be what they've always been, and that is good enough to get into the playoffs, and then they don't do anything in the playoffs.
Isn't that crazy? They haven't won a Super Bowl in 31 seasons. No, 29 seasons.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Haven't sniffed it since then. They haven't been to a championship game. What was the 49ers game with Dak handing the ball to the center, not the ref?
Oh, God. That was terrible. Then, I mean, you had the Romo was holding, even though he was the starter, then flubbed the hold, for the kick there against Seattle.
Who punched? Was it the Packers that punched him in the face last year in the playoffs? Yeah. Went down.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. To me, what's more mind-boggling is just the Cowboys have been competitive, but the Raiders are just awful.
I know.
And they've been the one playoff game since the Super Bowl, if I'm reading. That was Derek Carr. They got beat by the Bengals a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And look, that's an owner that meddles too.
Yeah.
Another one.
Do you think Pete Carroll's going to get a job?
Yes.
I think he should.
Yep. I think he gets a job. Who would you rather take? Pete Carroll, Brian Callahan?
Well, Pete Carroll.
I'm taking Pete Carroll.
Bring in Pete.
Well, but here's the thing. I think if he comes out and basically he's putting this out there right now that, hey, I want to coach, I'm available. Some jobs that maybe weren't going to open up are going to open up if they feel like they have a legitimate shot to get Pete Carroll.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think his age matters.
No, and look, you look at these great coaches, how they delegate is so important and so vital. Look, I know Andy Reid's got Patrick Mahomes. That almost disqualifies him for anything else because he's that good, but Andy Reid's made him that good. But you go back through history, man. Lombardi had great assistant coaches. You look at Tom Landry. Oh my, the assistant coaches that were Tom Landry were amazing. Belichick had great assistant coaches with him that they delegated, and he didn't have to do it all. Pete Carroll does not have to call the plays. Pete Carroll does not have to call the defensive plays. Pete Carroll is more of a CEO of anything else on there, whereas these young guys want to call their own plays and all the other things that go along with that. I think Pete Carroll will be a hell of a hire. Guys love him.
Oh, yeah. I can tell you of all the people that I got to meet because of Floyd, Pete was definitely one of my favorites. Pete and Andy Reid. But Pete sat down at our table and just joked around with Jared and I, and it was just like, wait, this is Pete Carroll? This is the guy that's won a Super Bowl and probably should have been two and national championships. I mean, this is Pete Carroll. Like this, right. He was just awesome.
Tell the Andy Reid story.
Oh, from the combine?
Yeah.
So Floyd had, run into Andy and several others, said, hey, why don't you come on the show? And they're like, sure, we'll come over. So Bill O'Brien, who's still in Houston, walks up to the table, sits down. Andy Reid basically walks up at the same time. And I'm like, oh God, what do I do? And so the PR guy for the Chiefs is like, hey, we may not be able to do it. And Andy looks at him and goes, nah, we'll wait around for Floyd. They're like, that's fine. He won't, we'll just go when Bill's done. And I was like, Coach, appreciate it. And he goes, yeah, so what do you do? Like, I just sat there and kind of
I am
basically
the 1025 and I'll be the boss one day.
So this was I don't think they had drafted Mahomes. I think this might have been Mahomes combine.
The 17 season? 16. 17, sorry.
Could have been
17.
So I think this was because I don't know. It was Robinson's first year, I think.
That'd have been 16.
Yeah. So maybe
one of those years.
One of the years, for sure.
Yeah. Well, Titans broke Andy Reid's heart there for a while. I mean, 16, the field goal and suck up that beat him on, was that Christmas Day? No,
it wasn't Christmas Day, but it was like 0 degrees in Kansas City at Arrowhead.
And then 17, the playoffs, and Cyprian knocked out Kelsey. Mm-hmm. I recently watched that play again. I'm surprised Kelsey got up after that.
They don't look, if that doesn't happen, they don't win that. The Titans don't win that game.
Because the Chiefs were shell-shocked.
Yeah.
And then in the AFC Championship game, they're up 14-0.
Yep.
We're up in the press box like, what in the world's going on here? And then they rallied back and won the game.
My favorite part of that game was I'm sitting next to Floyd. J-Rob's right in front of Floyd, like a row down. And I'm like watching them take notes, and it's like I'm watching a mirror. Like they're taking notes the same way. If a bad play happened, you hear them both go, damn it, like just slam the desk, and then a good play happens. It's just very quiet. Like, okay, that's good. And I kind of looked at Floyd and I go, do you realize that you two are the same? And John turns around and goes, where do you think I learned it from?
You remember us in Miami watching Rand Carthon?
Yeah.
He didn't take any notes that day.
Sure did.
I was like, Chase, there's Rand Carthon behind you. He's over to his right. And we just kept staring at him.
Yep.
Rand's probably going, who are these two just complete losers that are staring at me? And it's like, hey, Rand. He's like, what's up? That was it. But I don't think Rand took notes that day either.
I don't.
He should have, because Titans played a hell of a game.
Yeah, no. Look, that was probably the most crazy. Like if I had come back and told you this was going to be the outcome, you would have been like, you're what are you on?
Right. I'll never forget how quiet Dolphin the stadium was when the Titans rallied back. It was so, they weren't mad. They were just disappointed. They all just left.
We walked into the press conference, and Vrabel just kind of, like, when he walked in, you could tell Vrabel just had like, he was happy, obviously, but he was just like, what the hell just happened?
Right. And the locker room was so loud, they had to go and say, guys, you mind kind of holding it down a little bit? Because you couldn't hear anything at all.
Oh, yeah. No, it was great. Coming up next, we'll get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays, as we always do. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hey, tune in to 102.5, 106.3 The Game tomorrow as Vanderbilt football, presented by Prince's Hot Chicken. The Commodores will take on Georgia Tech in the Birmingham Bowl. Pregame at 1, kickoff just after 2:30. Coverage is also available on – actually, it's not, so I won't read that.
Go ahead
There
and
we
read
go.
it.
Nope, it's not. Check out Georgia Tech and Vandy tomorrow, the Birmingham Bowl.
What time is that? 2:30?
Yep. That's the
2:30.
kick.
That's the same time you go to the dentist. You know that?
At 2:30?
2:30. Tooth hurting.
I see what you did there. You just couldn't resist that, could you?
It's the best. Thank you so much. That joke is evergreen. It works anywhere.
That just like that clip of Cliff falling asleep.
It
is
does.
evergreen.
It's always good.
That is a good one. Faux show. All right. With that, let's get to, I've missed this the last few days. Let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays.
All right, gentlemen, it's a short list today, but first one we have here on the list is the beginning of Hanukkah. So for those that celebrate, congratulations.
It was last night.
Yes.
Yep.
We also have National Candy Cane Day. So I'm pretty sure those are probably half the
Yeah.
price at your local department stores. Boxing Day, obviously, is today as well.
Shout out to the Canadians and Boxing Day.
National Thank You Note Day. So,
Always. Thank you
Always.
notes are it's passes by. Nobody does that anymore.
I love handwritten sentiments. I think those are probably the best thing ever. Let's see. National Winers Day is to wrap it up there. So
I know some people that do that every day.
Winers are like wine, like Zinfandel.
no, not like that type
Wine.
of wine.
Okay.
Have you seen her lately?
I have not. Not since Sinatra's bar that night.
Ah.
That was a good time, wasn't it? You took on the mic and sang Witchcraft? God almighty.
I'm sad I missed that.
Good times. And that guy's like,
I heard David James was there too.
He was in attendance.
and my friend John Winger's like, now I know why I've always lost girls to guys like you. He's like, Lee Harvey, you are a madman. All right, time for celebrity
Sure.
birthdays. Got to get these within 2. Our first birthday today is the drummer for Metallica, Lars Ulrich.
Ulrich.
Whatever.
Lars is 63.
67.
61. Isn't his stepdad Eli Nastasi the tennis player?
No idea.
No, it's somebody else. It's one of the tennis players that shot a bird to the judge. I'll figure it out.
John McEnroe.
No, somebody else. Actor Jared Leto. What's that band? 10,000 Moons to
30,
Mars?
30 seconds to Mars.
Something like that. Okay.
I'm gonna say he's 43.
51.
53.
Oh wow.
I had no idea he was that old. On down the list here. Who's this guy? I don't know who this is, so we'll skip over. Some actress, Beth Bears. You ever heard of her?
Nope.
No, we'll skip on that. Kit Harington was in Games of Thrones. One of the characters in Games of Thrones.
34.
47.
38. Never watched that. Don't know who this is either. All right, I'll get some more celebrities. America's Most Wanted host, John Walsh, better known as Boats.
74.
70.
79. Comedian humorist David Sedaris. No idea.
52.
65.
68. Got it with the default there almost, Dr. Crane. Chris Daughtry of American Idol. Did he come to one of our events?
Yeah, I think he did. He's in the band Daughtry. Yeah.
He's a good singer.
48.
44.
45. Dr. Crane's up 2-1. Man, not a lot of people are born on December 26th. You know that? Did you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just killing time here.
You know whose birthday would have been yesterday?
Jimmy Buffett.
Yep.
That's right. It's also Jesus' birthday yesterday.
It
Don't
is.
forget that.
And Ricky Henderson.
And Ricky Henderson
Oh,
passed away recently. Yeah. How old did Jesus be? 2025, right? Something like that. Still alive though, baby. Still alive. All right, we got 4 more birthdays here. It's 2-1, Dr. Green. Carlton Fisk with one of the most iconic home runs ever in baseball.
68.
62.
77. This makes me feel old. Chris Chambliss, former Braves and Yankees first baseman.
57.
67.
76.
Oh wow.
Then the last 2. Best shortstop of all time, Ozzie Smith.
62.
64.
69.
Nice.
Last birthday. 2-1. You guys are terrible today. 2-1. Dr. Crane, NBA 3-point guy. Now he's on NBA talking basketball. Tim Legler. How old is Tim Legler?
I'm going to say 60.
57.
He's 58. We're tied at 2. One more. This is the winner. Keyboard player Bob Carpenter, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, evidently lives here in Nashville.
He does. My dad used to hang out with him.
Bob Carpenter. Oh, okay. 2-2. This is good.
75.
78.
78 exactly.
Oh,
Dr.
Dr.
Crane. After Chase McCabe tries to steal your momentum. That's random, though, right?
Yeah.
Your dad would know. Of course, your dad knows Nitty Gritty Dirt. Do you know Steve Martin, too?
He met him.
Because the guitar player or whatever, the banjo player for them was Steve Martin's best friend.
Yeah, he met him.
Woo.
Sure.
All right, good show.
It was a great show. That'll do it for us. DVD coming up next. We'll have bowl games this afternoon. You can go to thegamenashville.com to get the full schedule. All our bowl games presented by Twin Peaks and Parman Tractor and Equipment.
As they should be. All right, guys out there, look, you made it through Christmas. You're doing great. We got 2025 coming up. It's going to be awesome. You are still here for a reason. Know that. Know that we love you. If something goes on, you need to talk to somebody on your cell phone, please dial 988, or you can text 988, or you can reach out to us. We've heard from a lot of you guys. We love you. We love having you here with us every single day. Know that if something happened to you, you'd be tremendously missed. We always want you to know that you're tremendously loved because we love you. And more importantly, God loves you.
One of our texters says Beth was the blonde in Two Broke Girls. We were talking about the actress that you didn't know who she was.
Thank you.
So there you go. DVD coming up next. We'll be back at it at 9 o'clock tomorrow. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.